I have a question for you. Who are you? What do people think you are? How well do you know yourself? And how well do people know you? Oh, you want to answer the question? Of course, I know you have answers to it. But before you answer, let me tell you this. Or perhaps let me ask you a few of my questions. Do you know that you were crafted out from the image of God? And do you know that how you look is how God looks in heaven? Because God crafted you out of his image, and you carry the resemblance of God Most High. Do you also know that you are God's workmanship, a tool designed for his purpose? You were uniquely designed out of the dust, crafted and molded, and God added beautiful colors. Inside those beautiful colors, there is a black color, and sometimes life seems to be very dark, and we cannot understand because we cannot see clearer and better. But if you can only persevere and know that you are God's image, if you can only bear with God and know that God crafted you out for his purpose, with time, those black colors will begin to turn brighter. Remember, God created light out of darkness. And you may think life is not worth living. If you know who you are, you will actually understand the importance of who God has designed you to be. Because you have hope and you have many good things in line for you. You may be disabled. Just know that your disability is in line with God's purpose for your life. And his purpose is to bring his glory and honor. You may not be an eloquent speaker, but just know that your inadequacies is in line and is equated with God's purpose. And he will bring his plans out in you, and people will see it. You may be rejected by your skin color, by your race, by your ethnicity, by your gender, by your background, by what people may have known about you. Or just know that because you are rejected, you are in the purpose of God's acceptance. And God will make the rejected stone of you to be the chief cornerstone. If people rubbish you, make mockery of your life, scornfully spite at you, and make you feel nothing, if you can only know who you are, that is all that matters. Because you know what? These are the scams that the devil may be using to swerve you from actually realizing your identity in Christ Jesus. If you can only know that you are God's chosen, a royal priesthood, a worthy nation, the one created by holy God in heaven, the one that was never created, but he created heaven and earth. And he said, let there be light. Even in the midst of darkness, he crafted light out of darkness. And sometimes the color of black that is in you, it is there for a purpose. God is not done with you. If you can only persevere and believe that God has a greater plans for you, Because he said his plans for you are not for evil, but for good. A plan for you to have a brighter future. A plan for you to walk and not faint. A plan for you to run and not weary. Sometimes we are clouded by emotional depression. Sometimes we are clouded by the pain of our past. Sometimes we are clouded by the experience of what we see. But don't let it take your eyes out from God. Because it is when you fix your eyes in God, and in the fogginess of everything around you, pay attention. That is where God will manifest himself. That is why I want to let you know that you are in God's purpose. He has good plans for you. But my question for you is again, do you now know who you are? Do you believe that you are God's crafted image? And his plans for you are so good and so bright. And no one can ever stop the light of God in your life. Do you know that what we go through right now is temporary? Because God may be using it to test your faith. God may be using it to test who you are, to actually make you to realize that you are already his chosen. Do you now know that you are God's workmanship? God has his great plans for you. Stay focused on him. Don't allow people, what we see on the media, what we see on social forums, to intimidate you. Don't go competing yourself with others because they have this and they have that. You can never tell where they got that from. You can never tell if they're able to go in their bed and have a good night's sleep. You can never tell how they are roaming in their hearts seeking for help because they have refused to wait on God's purpose. And I can also tell you, if you are looking to the other side, looking how people are living their lives, competing yourselves with them, you can never tell what they went through to be where they are now. You can never tell how many times they prayed and asked God for grace and divine intervention. You can never know what they've been through before God brought them to where they are. Remember, everyone's hour of blessing is different. We may be in the same home. You may be living in the same home with your brothers and your sisters. Doesn't mean your blessing will come the day their blessing comes. God has enlisted you in his book of blessing, but he wants you to know who you are first. Because it is by you knowing who you are that you will actually embrace the blessing that God will bring to you. Don't go competing yourself and hanging your clothes where your hand cannot reach. Don't go forcing yourself to wear other people's shoes because it will not fit you. Remember, everybody's body is different. God crafted you differently. You actually looking like someone doesn't actually mean you are that person. God designed you for his purpose. When you focus on him, you will realize that you are more than what people think you are. And you are who God says you are. Have a blessed day and know that Jesus Christ loves you. And God is not done with you. He is doing great and mighty things to bring you a better life. Be blessed.